Good morning, students. Today, welcome to your English grammar class. And in today's class, we are going to study the modal verbs. If we talk about these verbs, so in this video, we will try to know or we will study that why, when, and how exactly we use them. If we talk about the modal verbs, so first of all, I would like to tell you that they are a special type of auxiliary verbs. What are the auxiliary verbs? The auxiliary verbs are the verbs what are used with another verbs. We can say in another words that they are helping verbs. So it means that the modal verbs can be used as helping verbs. The modal verbs, they alter or complete the meaning of the main verbs. Means what the main verb wants to convey the message that can be conveyed through the modal verb. They express ideas such as capacity, possibility, obligation, your permission, prohibition, sometimes request, desire, probability. Means these are the feelings, these are the ideas what can be conveyed with the help of these modal verbs. If we talk about the formality in our conversation, so they can also indicate the level of formality in the conversation. We never use S or ES in the modal verbs. These are the basic rules of modal verbs. We never use ing in these verbs, and second and third forms are also not made of these modal verbs. So these are few things what we always have to remember. If we talk about now that modal verbs, so that main modal verbs are can, could, may, might, must, shall, will, should, ought to, and would. So these are some few modal verbs. If we talk about the first modal verb, so that is can. And we know that when exactly the can be used, especially when we want to show the capacity. Sometimes we use it for permission and sometimes for request too. So in these conditions, the can be used, but especially the can be used for showing the capacity, ability of a person. Now, if we see the example, how it can be used. She can speak French. So it means now we are showing the capacity of the person. I can lift 80 kg weight. Here I am showing capacity, ability of mine. He can come in now. It means you are giving him permission. But the thing what we have to just take care while using can as for giving permission, it can be done only when you are giving the permission to the junior. It cannot be like this that you can give the permission by using can to the elder one or to your senior people. For making request also we can use can, but like as you can see here, can you lend me your pen? So it means this kind of request can be made with friends, with the same age kind of people, not with exactly with the elder people or with the senior people. So this is the thing what we always have to remember in our mind, that where exactly we can use can in conversation. Now the next modal verb, that is could. It expresses possibility, past ability, as well as suggestions and requests. For these things we can use could. If we see the examples, extreme rain could cause the river to flood the city. It means there is the possibility that if the rain comes so heavily, so it can be that the city can get flooded. Past ability, it means when you were having any kind of ability in past, and if you want to show that, so you people will be showing that ability with the help of could. John could run very fast when he was younger. It means when he was young, he could. But because now, maybe that now he has grown up, so now he cannot run. But he was having that ability in past. So for showing the past ability, we can use could. For suggestions, we could go to an ice cream parlor or stay home and watch a movie. It means here we are just giving the suggestions. So for that, we can use could. For a request, and if I'm not wrong, then I can say for a polite request. If you are making a request to your elder people, if you are making a request to the senior person, then we have to use could. So this is the basic difference between can and could. So like this thing, while having conversation with anybody, we have to take care that if we are making a request to the senior person or to that elder person, we have to use only could. Could I use your cell phone for a moment? So it means you are taking permission, and it's a polite request, I can say. Next, that is may. Most commonly used, and we know that it is used for showing the possibility, especially in future. Sometimes for asking permissions and for praying God also. If you are making like any kind of prayer, then we use may. So three things are there: possibility, permission, and for making any kind of prayer. Now see how it can be. Like suppose Maria may be at a school or at home. It means you are not sure where she is. You are just telling the possibility. When you saw in the sky, it was cloudy, then you, after seeing that, you said, oh, it may rain. It means there is a possibility. So whenever you are just telling the possibility in future, especially, then we use may. For asking permission, like the very common sentence, may I come in? And even for giving permission, yes, you may. So it means for asking the permission and for giving permission, we use may. Might, the next. And before moving to the might, we can say, may God bless you. What exactly we just said, that for making any kind of prayer, for wish. Now the next, might. It is again like commonly used for possibility. But when there is less possibility of happening something. So for telling exactly the less possibility, we use might. Sometimes it is used for making suggestions and requests also, but especially for telling the less possibility in future. Like you can say that your backup might be under the desk. It means I'm not sure, and very less possibility is there of being it over there. Might I open the door? This is for request, and the request exactly that kind of when you are just asking for the permission from somebody who is very respected, honorable. Okay, so like for that we can use might. It means if you please forgive me, in another words, if I say, if you please forgive me, so might I open the door? If you are having this feeling, then we use might. Okay, now come to the next modal verb, that is must. And must, it can be used to talk about certainty. When you are emphasizing on something, you strongly want to recommend something. If you are just showing the necessity of something, then we use must. Let's see some examples. She must be sick. she never gets late to school. It means you are just telling the probability that she is very much punctual. She must be sick. That's why she is late today. Otherwise, she never gets late. So, see now that you are emphasizing on this. You are strongly recommending this thing. Students must pass an entrance examination to study at this school. It means you are emphasizing that without clearing the examination, that admission in this school is not at all possible. So when you are emphasizing on something at this much level, we use must. For strong recommendations, as I just earlier told you, here are a few more examples. You can see. Now, if we just move on, the next modal verb, that is shall. It indicates, as we know, that future actions. Whatever exactly the things will be done by especially the subjects I and we. So we use shall. I shall go to Delhi tomorrow. You are just telling about that. Sometimes for a kind of suggestion, we can say, or a kind of simple formal asking. If like you are just doing a formality. Shall, now see that example. Shall we set the table? It means now everything is ready. You can see that suppose like there's a dinner party, everything is ready, vegetables are ready, all that chapatis, your whatever the dishes you are just going to serve, all these things are ready, and at last, like you are just taking a kind of formality you are just going to fulfill with your mother. Now, shall we set the table? It means everything is ready. So I think that now we should go and set the table. So for these kind of expressions, we use shall. I shall never leave your side. It means you are making a promise to somebody. So for these kind of things, for these kind of conversation, we use shall. Now, if we come to will, and you all know that will exactly we use for the future actions or your instant decisions, what you have just made for future, we use will. For example, you see, I will call you later. It means you called me, but I was not able to just receive your call. Then suddenly the message goes, okay, I'll call you later. It means this is your instant decision. I loved that t-shirt. I will take it. It means your decision that you will be buying this. So for showing exactly that instant decisions, future actions, what we do, we use simple will. Should. It is commonly used for telling the duties to some people. But especially like we should take care of one thing, that we are just telling the duties, but not to that people who are older to us. Not to the people exactly who are senior to us. The people who are in my age or the people who are just under me. If I want to just tell them their duties, so we should use should for that. We can use should. For example, when you have many classes, you should take a bottle of water with you. It means this is my recommendation. Suppose I'm a teacher, so I can give this suggestion to another teacher. We are friends. He's in my limits. He's in my circle. I can give him. I can give advice to my students. You should study hard. But I cannot give order to my boss. I cannot give order to exactly my senior person. Suppose he comes late to the office and I cannot say him, you should come early or you should come on time. So this is the thing what we have to take care. Okay, so should in these conditions we can use. There are few more conditions, you can see them. Now, ought to. If I talk about like as we use this should for telling like duties, again ought to can be used for telling some moral duties. What exactly is expected from a person to do? It should be done by you or by him or by any other person. So then we use especially this ought to. means when you are just telling especially some moral duties, like we ought to respect our elders. We ought to respect our national anthem. We ought to stand up whenever national anthem is played. So when exactly that the moral duties are there? So we should use ought to. So this is the advisable. Now you can see few more examples. She ought to stop eating red meat. It means this is a recommendation. But especially ought to is used for telling the moral duties. Now that is would. It is commonly used to create conditional verb tenses. It can be used to make offers, requests, and talk about past habits. So there are few things when this would will be used. We can say that if I were you, I would not do that again. It means had I been at your place, I wouldn't have made that mistake again. So this is the conditional sentence. Now, if I just take that example of offering something, so would you like some cakes? It means I'm requesting you to have some cakes. I'm offering you. Would you like to have a cup of tea? So this is again my offer to you. So and for past habits also, wherever we use used to, so in place of used to, we can use would. Means, for example, in my childhood, I used to go my Mamaji's home. So here in place of this used to, I can use would. That in my childhood, I would go my Mamaji's home. But now, because I have grown up, so that's why now that every year I do not go my Mamaji's home. So there are certain uses of these modal verbs. Just go through this video once again. You would understand in a better way. Thank you. Have a nice time.